for today's video, we are doing some Brandy Melville clothing hacks, and basically I'm going to be showing you guys ways to transform your old clothes into clothes that look like they're from Brandy Melville, and I would love to start this into a series. So if you guys have any other stores that you want to see me do this with, definitely leave a comment down below. And if this is the first time you guys are seeing my face, that would be super awesome if you guys wanted to click that red subscribe button, because I do make new videos every Thursday and Sunday. And if you guys have seen my face before but you haven't turned on my channel notifications, you should definitely do so that you guys can be notified exactly when I post new videos. Without any further ado, let's get started. So the first thing that we are going to be making is the bralette that you see everyone rocking from Brandy Melville. This was, I think, the first item I've ever owned from Brandy Melville, but we are going to be doing a DIY version. So basically I'm taking an old tube top like so, and then we are going to cut off the front of it, and then I bought some... Where's the other one? I lost the other one. So for this, I have two different sizes of knit elastic, one for the shoulder strap and one for the back. Then I also have some handy dandy E6000 glue, which works perfect for gluing fabrics or basically gluing anything at all. Okay, so the first step is to cut off the front of the shirt or the back of the shirt. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. Cut off one side. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm just gonna cut along the seam here and try and make it as smooth as possible. And the nice thing about this fabric as well, since it is quite stretchy, is it cuts really easily. You can also use the photo for reference beside you, which I think really helps just to make sure you're actually doing it right. And a helpful tip would be to take a measuring tape and just measure out your shoulder length just to make sure you actually have it long enough to fit you. So I'm just taking the measurement like so and then putting it where my normal tank top would be, and this is where the top of the strap will be, and the bottom will probably come around to here, so then I can just take that and use that for reference. And what you can do as well is take a little bit of chalk and then just mark here where exactly you want to put the elastic, and then take your little pins and attach them like so. Alright, so next up we're going to be taking the smaller elastic. So since you do want the sports bra to be fitted, what you want to do is you want to take the elastic and measure it out on your back, stretching it out a little bit, so that way when you actually have it on, it will be tight on your body. So then you can just fold the edges over like this, so you can kind of get an idea of what it will look like. So the next step is we are taking the E6000 glue and we're going to put a little tiny dot on the ends of each of the elastic. Okay, so we want to make sure that this isn't going to try and stick to the bottom part here, because that would not be good. What we're going to do is we're going to take this and fold it over very carefully, making sure it's only getting on the edge here. Also repeat that step on the other side. And then the very last section we have to glue here is the bottom pieces attached to here. Alright, so once everything is all glued down, you want to set this aside for about 24 hours just to make sure everything is completely dried before you wear it. DIY, we are going to be making the white Newport shirt. So basically all you will need is a plain white t-shirt. This was like $5 from Micheals, and then I also bought some transfer paper as well, and this is for light shirts. You want to also make sure you're always following the instructions inside, because like different transfer paper could have different instructions and I don't want to tell you guys what to do and then it gets all messed up. So let's see what we have here. And something really important to remember about this is you do have to mirror the image when using light transfer paper. When using dark transfer paper, it actually goes straight on. So you guys can do that if you want it a little bit easier, but it's super easy to flip an image. We're going to be taking our screenshot of the Newport shirt, and this was actually from the Brandy Melville website, so it's really high quality. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring this into Photoshop. You can also use like Google Docs or like Word documents on your computer, and we're going to be making the image a little bit larger so it shows up the same size it does on the Brandy Melville shirt. Okay, let's do this. Alright guys, so we printed this out here, and the nice thing about it as well is since it did print on a white background, we actually don't need to cut the letters out individually, which saves a lot of time, and then you don't have to worry about the spacing or anything. So we're gonna cut this out and then put it on the t-shirt and iron it, and we're done. And how easy was that, guys? This is like $5 instead of however much Brandy Melville charges, so I'm pretty happy with this. Let's do this. Okay, so I'm gonna heat up my iron so we can get ready to iron this on. And what you wanna remember too is that you wanna have the iron on the cotton setting, and you don't wanna have any steam on it at all, otherwise that will ruin it. So be really careful to read the instructions with transfer paper, because transfer paper too, like they could differ on what you're supposed to do, so just be precautious, read the instructions, it's always key. Alright, so now that we have the shirt laid down, I'm going to take my print and face it down like this, and then I want to make sure it's really straight, checking a whole bunch of times right before I actually iron it. Now we're going to peel it off and see how it looks. Ta-da! Alright guys, so this is how the t-shirt turned out. I'm really happy with how it looks. Like, this is an exact dupe. It looks exactly like the one from the website, and this is way cheaper than actually buying it in store, so that is awesome. Alright, so for the next one, you guys will just need an old recycled black dress. And this dress actually has these elastic strings on the top. And I tried to look for similar ones at Micheals, but I found something that was pretty close. And the key is to make sure it has elastic because it will be stretched around your body. So you want it to be quite tight. And if it's not elastic, you need to have like perfect measurements, which like is a little bit hard to do. So it's better to have elastic, which means it's more forgiving and you don't have to stress as much about it, which is always key. So let's just get started. So the first step you want to do is measure your torso just to make sure the bodysuit's actually going to be long enough. So I'm just taking a measuring tape like so, and I will put it here where the top of the dress is, and I will go all the way down to my crotch area, and I will measure that out. And then when cutting the bodysuit, to make sure it actually is going to fit me, I'm going to need to make sure it's this long. And then I'll just place that measuring tape down and put some swimsuit bottoms down as well at the very bottom, and then I'm just tracing it out with chalk just to make sure I have the right shape. And then I'm cutting out the back, making sure for the top part to only cut one layer, and then where the legs will be, you'll want to cut through both layers. So then I'm taking a bit more of my glue and I'm just putting a little layer right here, and then I'm going to take the back side of it and push those two together. Alright, and then what I'm going to be doing with these two strings is I'm going to be attaching them on the outside like so, and then I'm going to be taking my string that I bought at Micheals and I'm going to be crossing it over once like this and then back across like that. And then to secure these ones, I think I'm going to use a stitch because that way it's just going to stay a lot better. And then up here I'm going to use glue. And then I'm going to take the glue once again and put the tiniest little dot right at the edge. Then I'm going to take the little string and put it in there and then just fold the fabric over a little bit, and I will secure it with a clothespin to let it dry overnight. Alright, so to finish off the rest of the bodysuit, we're going to be attaching this rest of the string to the back here, and I've actually decided to use a needle and thread just to make it a bit more secure, and it's really easy to do. Guys, I am no sewer at all, so if I can do it, you can do it. So what I actually like to do is to take a measuring tape and actually measure my back just to make sure I have the right width. Alright, so then I'm taking my needle and thread and I'm just poking it through the fabric like this. It's honestly really simple to do, and a good life skill as well, guys. So alright, so then I just do that a few times until it is fully secure. Then what we're going to be doing is repeating that process on the other side. So then we're just going to bring it over like this, and then I'm thinking we'll probably do one more over going this way. So once again, you want to measure it out, just making sure you had the same length as before. So once we are done that side, we just want to cut off the excess here, and then we're going to use the rest of the string for the other side. Alright, so half the back is done right now. As you can see, we have the strings coming along really nicely. I just finished stitching the string on both sides, and now I'm just going to cut off the excess here, and we are basically done. Guys, I'm so obsessed with how this turned out. Yay! And this was so easy to make, and this was made out of a dress. I'm just patting my back because I'm proud of myself. And guys, I am no seamstress at all, so if I can do this, you guys can do this. And I highly recommend, if you guys are looking for a cool bodysuit, just transform an old dress instead. It will save you money and make something really neat. Clothing hack is, instead of buying one of their chokers, you can actually just buy different fabrics of ribbon instead. Take this sheer ribbon, for example. I had this just laying around my house and it looks exactly like one of the necklaces on their website. So all you have to do is measure the length of your neck and then cut the choker to that length, adding a few inches to tie it in the back, and there you have a new choker.
Like a warning, could have slept here for days. I felt your heartbeat, felt your mouth breathe, but it's not.
Alright, so next up we're making one of their signature ball caps, and Brandy Melville does actually have plain white ones, so you can totally keep it white, but that's kind of boring. So I just decided to get these little patches that I got for like $1, and this is technically an iron-on patch, but just because of the shape of the hat, I am going to use some glue instead. And then I am just sticking that on there, and you are done. It's really simple to make, and you can totally customize it to whatever you like. next next one, we are going to be taking an old dress and recycle it to make it into a bodysuit that looks like this. And so since it has such low back, we are going to be cutting it. So you want to take the chalk again and outline exactly where you're going to cut, just to make sure you don't mess it up or anything, because you only have one shot at this. And since we're cutting the back open like this, we're going to cut off the straps here first and then attach them to the edges. So since we are going to be making this into a bodysuit, what you want to do is take a pair of swimsuit bottoms and then place that right under where you finished your curve here. And you also want to make sure that you measure out where the top of your chest is to the bottom of your crotch, just to make sure it's long enough for your body, because obviously everyone's body is different. So make sure you do this step, because you don't want to then go to all this work and have it be too short or way too long. Then what I'm going to be doing is taking the chalk once again, and I will just outline of where I'm going to cut it. Step here is we are going to be gluing the straps to the side of the bodysuit here, and so I'm just going to be taking my glue again and then adding a little bit just to the edge there, and then repeating the same step on the other side. This is when clothespins come in handy. So what you want to do is take 2 of them and then just use those to secure these here. Once these are all cut, what you want to do is apply a little bit of glue just to the crotch area, and then I added some clothespins just to keep it in place overnight. Alright guys, so this is how the second bodysuit turned out. I'm also really happy with this one. I absolutely love open back bodysuits, and this was really easy to make, and this would be way cheaper than any bodysuit that you buy. And recycling your old clothes is a really great way to get more use out of clothing that you might actually have just thrown away. So there we have it. That is it for the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching it. I had so much fun making these for you guys, and I really liked how everything turned out. So if you guys want to see me continue this series, definitely leave a comment down below. I think it'll be really fun. And if you guys decide to recreate any of these looks, please tweet me a photo. I would absolutely love to see them. And as usual, all of my social channels will be listed down below. You guys should definitely follow me on Instagram, because I will be going on a bunch of fun trips in the next few months, so you guys can get up to date on that. And I also release like a lot of like hints and stuff of what I'm doing and like projects I'm working on Twitter, so you guys can be in the know and we can just be a family. You can tweet me, I will tweet you back, I will favor your tweets, all the above. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.